Here we- Hey, how you doing?
I am good, sir. How are you?
Good, good. Time for another trash talk. The Tuesdays just fly by every week.
Every week, man. Every week they fly by. Let me. I'm in a
But
weird. I'm in a weird angle because I have. You guys can't see it, but soon you will. I have this all these eggshells hanging on this wall over here,
oh, I can
and
see. Is that above you to the right?
uh, that's my beer cap collection. But
Oh,
uh, but I have it, and so I'm moved all this stuff away from the wall, and I'm trying to finish by next week my renovations. So
oh. You should have a sign on from hanging from your shelf in the back there saying under construction.
I
You know.
know, no,
Or
it's
you know what people would really recognize? An orange cone.
just put it. I could just go steal one off of El Dorado since El Dorado is under
Hey,
construction.
they're on every corner. They're on every corner. You just help yourself.
Well, man, I got to tell you, I was reading this thing online, and it caught my eye. Normally, I skip past certain stuff, but this one caught my eye. And in a recent study by TasteBud, whoever they are, um, Taste, and I think there was another one, TasteBud, and I don't know. Um, they they did a study and they created this list. I thought it was wild of detail and places women say they won't go on a first date. They won't go.
Where they just refuse to go.
They to go. They said, sometimes it's an effort thing. It's about comfort, safety, and it has nothing to do with them being too picky. And I'm like,
Oh,
okay, let me dive into this, and I'll be the judge of that.
so just
Um,
off the top, you would probably say that a strip joint is probably not a good place to go on a first date,
Technically, it's not on the list. So,
unless the girl you're dating is a stripper.
yeah, I mean, out of the 28 spots they listed, strip club not on there. I'm assuming we're allowed to do that. So, um, let me and I don't know if these are in order of ranking. They didn't dive into that, or I quit reading.
Yeah.
But here's some. Let's check this out. Okay, here's one: bowling. They won't go bowling on a first date. They don't want to do it. You know what? I'm not against it. I don't think that many people do bowling. It's more of a nostalgia thing now, unless you're on a
Unless you
league.
live in the Midwest. If you live in it, in Milwaukee, maybe.
Yeah. On it, it's a big league thing. I mean, I guess they don't want to be like embarrassed. I don't know. Bowling. I wasn't too shocked about that one. But here's another one. They won't go to a bar just for drinks. They won't. Maybe it's a safety thing. Maybe it's an alcohol thing. Okay, okay.
Now, it maybe if it is going out to a nice place for dinner and having a few glasses of wine or so before the meal, I can understand a bar thing is because that I think the old bar scene thing on a first date is kind of passé. Now
Usually,
I have to admit that was my first date with Lauren.
there you
We
go.
went we went to a place. It was called Svoboda's Nickelodeon Tavern.
Nickelodeon. Was there a bunch of kids there?
No, it was run by a family that collected Calliopes and Nickelodeons and all kinds of old stuff, and the whole tavern was just filled with all these machines.
Wait a minute. We have to pause that. I'm going to show ignorance and my age. What is a Nickelodeon other than a kids channel? I don't know.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're going back to when things like even grass was something that you mowed.
I mean, Nickelodeon, bro.
Well, you know what a calliope is, don't you? That
I'm
they
not
they
anymore.
used to play at the carnivals and all. It's a music thing. Well, Nickelodeons are the same thing. They were music devices, old time music devices from the
Okay.
1800s. And
Uh,
this family collected them, but what was unique was the bar was also tricked out. So you'd be sitting at a booth, and all of a sudden the bartender would flip a switch, and your booth seat would move out into the aisle. Uh, One of the coolest things at this place was in the ladies' room, there was a big wooden Indian statue,
Okay.
and he was wearing a loincloth.
Makes sense.
And the women would go in there, and if they were curious, they'd go and check out the loincloth. A siren would go off in, in the bar. So when this poor girl came out of the bathroom, to a round of applause. But that was my first date with Lauren.
Guys, what Stuart is saying, he went in the women's bathroom and was curious. Okay.
I was trying to make a real good first impression, and unfortunately, we ran out of gas on the way there. But
Hey,
that
story of my life, man.
yeah, so, but
Well, I'll tell you what, you're not going to a bar on the next first date. So, and
yeah,
speaking of food, check out all the restaurants that are no-nos. Cheesecake Factory, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, IHOP, Red Lobster, which back in the day, Red Lobster was the creme de la creme, you know?
right, yeah,
No Buffalo Wild Wings. You're not going to Denny's. You're not going to Waffle House.
IHOP.
Why can't you go to Waffle House? It's guaranteed to have a good time and a fight, you know?
Yeah.
I want to go. It's a show and waffles. Come on.
Right. Well, but again, you got to, don't you have kind of have to scope out the girl a little bit to find out what her interests are? Maybe she absolutely loves waffles.
That's what I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know, here's one that kind of got me: coffee dates. They don't want to do it.
Because that's they probably go out for coffee dates for at work all the
Well,
time, with
so
clients.
here's where I think they're crossing the line. Now I think they're being too picky. They're worried about being comfortable. Well, coffee date, comfortable. They're worried about safety. Well, coffee dates are pretty safe overall.
Yeah, it's a nice public
Um,
place.
they're worried about the effort. Well, there's not much effort. Just show up and chill. Like that is like the quintessential. You know, I get it. Don't go to Starbucks, but maybe find another coffee shop or something like that
Yeah,
to go.
yeah, a craft coffee shop or something like that. Yeah, you're right.
Apparently, apparently, they don't want to go to your house. I guess you can't do that on the first date.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet you differ because I've met some women that have suggested that. So on the first date. So what are you trying to tell me?
Well, they're the ones that might not care about going to a strip club.
And then they told me if I wanted to talk to them again, I could subscribe to their OnlyFans. So um, there's that. The other one, they don't want to go anywhere that requires a lot of driving. They don't want to drive far. They don't, and I can relate to that. I don't want to do that either. Church. They don't want to go to church on the first date.
No, yeah, I understand. I can fully understand that, and there's probably a lot of things wherever you go that you don't want to talk about. And guys have a tendency sometimes to talk about the other women that they've dated, their
Wait a
exes and stuff. So I don't think when you go out on a date, your date cares to know what your history is.
No, they don't need to know the body count, but I do think that women do the same thing. Well, I don't like going here because my ex brought me here. Like, I bet you when they were doing a survey, a lot of these, I mean, don't get me wrong, Applebee's, Chili's, nobody wants to go there, but I'm sure they had flashbacks of previous exes. This had nothing to do with this guy. The other one is,
But would that be a question that you would ask? If you were going out with an ex, not your ex, uh,
no, God.
Would you say, where did you go on your first date?
No,
They don't want to drag that up. No.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring it up because I don't care.
Yeah. Especially if she said Applebee's.
Right? They don't want to get ice cream. They don't want to do an ice cream date. I,
Yeah.
who doesn't
Really?
want an ice cream? Who
Wait,
doesn't want it? I
it's-
there's You're not going to Dairy Queen. There's so many places.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And if you go to Dairy Queen, you just sent the wrong message.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're cheap.
but if it's July in or August in Texas, uh, ice cream ain't such a bad idea.
They don't want to go to a hookah bar. I mean, I get that. Not everybody does hookah. They don't want to go to a sporting event on the first date. They don't want to go baseball. They don't want to go football game. None of that. Uh,
What about movies?
well, they don't want to have a movie night, meaning Netflix and chill. They don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Uh, Movies are not listed on here, but it does say movie night. But then in parentheses, it says Netflix. Well, if you're not going to my house, I'm obviously not going to watch Netflix in the car with you. You
Yeah.
know, um,
But I'm thinking that a movie is not really a good first date because you're
agree.
focused on the movie screen, and so you're not talking to each other.
I agree with you. I think movies. The last time I thought movies were good dates, I was in like eighth or ninth grade.
Mm,
You know, because I had no choice. Movies are go when you were established. I think when you're
yeah.
established, and you guys can enjoy the movie together and talk about it after.
Although I remember drive-in movies.
Well, me too.
It
And
had
that came
that
up.
wasn't a bad way to go to a movie on a
Because
date.
that's your on the first day. They don't want to go to a nightclub. They don't want to go to a nightclub on the first date. I respect that.
Yeah.
Some of these, though, I feel like are ridiculous. They don't want to go to a family function on the first date. No families, guys.
Right, right.
Yeah, I would be creeped out. Could you imagine going on your first date and the girl says, "Hey, we're going to go to this house to meet some people. It's a little bit of a party." They don't, and you walk in and it's all her family. You
Yeah,
don't know her. You don't know, you barely know her last name.
yeah.
And then her dad and her mom and her first cousin and her cousin's dogs there
And her father is a great big guy with no neck.
who just got out of jail. They don't want to go to Starbucks. Well, obviously, they don't want to go to Starbucks if they don't want coffee, but they specifically said Starbucks. So somebody might be okay with coffee, but they're not okay with Starbucks. That's
Right.
fine. The gym. They don't want to go to the gym. I The weird thing about this is somebody took their date to the gym.
Yeah. Well, but the interesting thing is that's where a lot of people go to find a date. That oftentimes health clubs and everything are where they call them meat markets.
It is weird though. When you start dating, when you meet somebody at the gym, 90% of the people that connect at the gym, I feel like are part of this like weird cult. It's like gym bros and athletic girls, and all they do, their whole identity becomes the gym. I don't get it. I
Right.
think when your identity becomes your job or your hobby, I think that's weird. I don't know. Um,
It's
here's one. Here's one for me. This one was interesting. No fast food. No McDonald's. No.
but that sends a wrong signal because that's a cheap way out.
Okay,
And
and that brings up the point though. What if the guy, like, he could be a good guy, or I guess a woman, um, if he's going out on a date or they're going out on a date, he's being very honest. He doesn't have a lot of money right now. Maybe his car just got totaled. Maybe he just had to pay for an expensive surgery. Look, I don't know. My point is though, but he's a good dude, and he goes and says, "Hey, I got a couple hours. I got to go do something after, but would you like to just do a quick date? Like, hey, there's this awesome ice cream place. They make these old school milkshakes. Like, I don't think that's being cheap. I think that's being thoughtful, creative, and also very transparent and honest. Like he's not lying
Yeah.
and hiding who he is, you know?
I'm thinking Johnny Rockets.
Well, I don't think anybody knows what that is, Stuart.
If you do you know Johnny Rockets?
No. And I don't think anybody in the last 35 years knows what Johnny Rockets
Well, if
is.
you go on a cruise ship, a lot of cruise ships have a Johnny Rockets franchise. But Johnny Rockets was a throwback 50s kind of a burger and milkshake and malt shop where the help actually sing songs, it's
Sounds,
kind of karaoke meets burgers.
sounds awful. Horrible.
Oh, you got to
I
take
don't
a
want
date there sometime.
I don't want somebody singing to me when I'm on a cruise. Yeah. But Johnny Rockets, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that out in LA? And like the OG one was in LA.
I
And
thought
if
they
I
were nationwide. I mean, they're all over Florida. They got a lot of them in Florida, and I'm not so sure how much they got in the Midwest. But a lot,
no,
as they say, the franchises have gone on cruise ships. Uh, so
look, I don't know what it is. I just remember the movie Pulp Fiction, and I swear they went to Johnny Rockets. All I know, but I'm saying is like I'm looking at JohnnyRockets.com right now, guys.
it's
It's
a it's a cool
well,
place.
yeah, there's one in Arlington, Six Flags.
Oh, okay, that makes
It's
sense.
it says location Gotham City, literally. Apparently it's in the Batman part of anyway. But you know what I mean? Like I don't think like if somebody says, "Hey, let's go get a coffee." I don't think that that's like being cheap. I don't know if you're not you're telling me that if you're trying to find a connection and
Yeah.
you don't go to a coffee shop, what if you date somebody and you're connected and then you guys go to a coffee shop? What's the difference?
Well, and let me throw a question out to you. Do you think it is best that when you go out on the date, you decide where you're going and just do that, or do you say to the girl, if you're going to go out and get something to eat, where would you like to go? Because what if she
Well,
says, "Oh, I like Applebee's." No, you should pick the place and say, "I'm going to take you there because it's kind of an extension of my personality."
first off, you never ask the girl where she wants to eat because you'll have 45 minutes of nothing. Okay? Second off,
Well, we could go here, or we could go here, or what do you think about Italian?
she's gonna
Or
play
Chick-fil?
play
Yeah,
the game of she's gonna play the game of I don't care, whatever you want.
right.
No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
And
But
then you finally say, "Oh, it's getting late. Maybe we'll do this another time."
I do think that you should have a plan in your head if you've initiated that conversation. Doesn't mean you can't adapt to that plan. Like if she says I'm allergic to seafood and you're going to to go get oysters, probably not a great idea.
Well,
Um,
and that's a good idea because if the girl doesn't like what you said, then that may be a way for you to save your money.
Absolutely,
It may not
but
be going anywhere.
but it is interesting to see, and some of these places I feel like I get, others I'm not so sure on.
Yeah. So,
Anyway,
but that's a cool list, to think about because I'm sure the people that are watching and listening to this show right now are saying, "Yeah, you're right," or "No, I don't know." Like my wife of 40 years, we met at a bowling alley.
yeah, and now they're like on a bowling league together or something.
Right, and they got trophies on the wall behind them. Well, hey. It's good to think about, because especially if you're out there playing the dating game and everything, you want to make sure you do things right. Otherwise, you're going to still be out there doing the dating game for a long time.
Exactly.
So, hey, you want to move on and we'll do something again next week?
Yeah, I'm done. That's all I got. I'm tired of talking.
I mean, your list probably goes on and on and on and on, but
It, I'm done.
yeah. All right. Bob, make it a good one to come back and catch us next week, okay? Bye.